I'll check that in a second. So this selector here wasn't working.
Which one?
Well, I'm talking to the camera right now.
Oh. What do you mean?
This selector here wasn't working, that's why the tape is there. And the symptom was that the corresponding sequence switch, which is down there also with a piece of tape on it, when you turned it off normal, it would stop at position 6, then again at position 9, then again at position 11, and then at 18. When the correct behavior is for it to, when taken off normal, and the brushes, the selector, brush, and rod are at normal, it should just go all the way around for one full rotation. So Chuck and I traced this circuit and found out that the operate path, when the brush is normal, goes through these commutators here. There's one commutator for each brush. And holding the camera on top of a ladder, so you'll hopefully forgive my shoddy camera work here. But on the back of that commutator you see these metal segments. And these brushes here, or they're actually called springs, pass over these metal segments and complete a circuit. And there's different segments on the front, again with springs. And you can see those segments on the front are subdivided into smaller bits. So if I move this off normal, it turns out, after much troubleshooting, that the farthest metal segment to the rear had gotten all corroded and disgusting, and the spring was not making contact, or if it was, there was too high of a resistance. So take your trusty sandpaper, go in there, clean that off, and then take your trusty soft pillow, and just get whatever gunk you've left behind. And it seems now that it's nice and shiny. Hey Chuck,
Yep.
You can dial 311 to reach permanent signal quickly.
Well, I didn't want permanent.
Oh, okay. So let's go back down and we will take a look at these sequence switches. Going down the ladder with a camera in one hand should be fun.
Well, it did give dial.
I lied. The actual problem is that that far rear spring is a little bit too low and needs to be moved up maybe a millimeter, maybe a half a millimeter. Because if I push on it just enough to move it up just a tiny bit, it works every time. And if I pull it down, it doesn't work. So now what I'm looking for is a screwdriver that can get in there so I can pull that spring up a little bit. I'll be back with the results. So this is the commutator spring, or one of them anyway, having been removed from its holder, or its housing, or bracket, I guess. And this one was seated too low. So what I did, as you can see, there's a bend here towards my thumb, and there's another previously 90-degree bend at the top here. So I increased the angle of the bend at my thumb to keep the forward pressure on this tip, and I opened up the angle of the tip a little bit. Previously it was 90 degrees. Now it's a little more than that. So hopefully that'll give us the extra millimeter or half a millimeter that we need. And in order to get it out of there, I have to use this 90-degree screwdriver, which is a pretty neat tool. Okay, let's put it back in. The spring's back in. You can see it's just a little bit higher than the rest of them. I'm hoping that's enough. Now Chuck is coming around to operate the sequence switch.
It's working.
Alright, I'm going to jiggle this a little, okay?
Okay.
Go.
I'm free.
Go. Yeah, we're good.
Good.
I'm jiggling it the same way I did before. And you can operate 27 as well. Yeah.
You want to put, what do you think about putting the wiper back on?
Sure, I'll put it back on for completeness. So the other thing that I noticed, that we just figured out, that Chuck actually mentioned but I wasn't listening, is that when you remove this bolt to get these wipers off, this whole brush assembly or spring assembly can move up and down on this rod. So if you're not careful and you go to reattach this, this will be down, you know, half an inch or something. And I didn't notice that at first, but with the whole thing sunk down a half an inch, of course it wasn't working, so I had to bring it back up to be in line with all these. And what's more, this front spring, which you can barely see, what's more, this frontmost spring has to be resting square in the middle of the two conductive segments, which it's doing now, but if it's a little too high, it'll land in the wrong place and cause a misconnection. So that's been set. We're going to try some test calls, but I feel pretty good at this point. A lot of learning. That was fun.